Let's continue to take you around the country as we celebrate the matric class of 2021. Those results coming out this morning. Over 200,000 candidates sat for the exams in KZN. It's where we take you now. Lethiwe Mdluli in Durban for us, speaking to some of the province's top achievers. How's KZN's marks looking this morning?
Well, good morning, Gareth. As you correctly stated, over 200 candidates sat last year for their matriculant examinations. And right now, we are going to be hearing from the Premier along with the KZN Education MEC, KZN, on those top achievers here in the province. I'm now joined by the KZN Education MEC, Mr. KZN. Mr. Mshengu, thank you so much for joining us and good morning. First of all, I know that we are going to be announcing some top achievers here in KZN, but it wasn't an easy year for the class of 2021. Take us through some of the problems that you experienced last year.
Indeed, it was not an easy year for the matric class of 2021. That is why we are really quite content with regard to the performance. It is the class that suffered the most, even if you compare it with the 2020 class of matrics. You will remember that in 2020 these were grade 11s who lost so much time in terms of curriculum coverage because of lockdown and COVID-19 disruptions. So they came to grade 12 with discernible learning gaps that had to be addressed before even moving forward with the curriculum of grade 12. We could not have the usual winter classes because of the July unrest in the province, so we had to cancel everything. So it was really an issue of disruption after disruption, but with the resilience of the educators as well as the learners, we think the results are quite satisfying in our view.
You just spoke about the results. I understand that KZN achieved 76.8% when it comes to those results. There are a few learners that were disturbed, especially in rural areas. Take us through those problems.
Well, as I said, it has really been a disrupted year, the year of 21, the disruptions as a result of July unrest, but also the issue of the infections that were also rising from time to time, resulting in some schools having to be closed, the issue of the third and the fourth wave that really affected us. But also, we think that in spite of those conditions, the system, the manner in which it is maturing, was able actually to withstand all those shocks. In spite of the marginal 0.8 decrease, but the quality of passes is increasing. As you will hear when you announce the number of distinctions here, the number of bachelor passes, it shows that the quality is increasing. And we believe that from now on the system has destabilized and we are looking ahead.
We also had some inmates writing their matric exams last year, 1,777 coming from KZN. Any top achievers there?
Well, I think there's one top achiever in the group of the inmates, but I think it's one interesting part, and they always perform at 100%, which shows that really education plays a major role even in terms of rehabilitation of members of the society. Because remember, when these inmates leave the prisons, they have to be integrated in society, and that is why it is important that they use that time in prison to study and rehabilitate themselves, get skills and knowledge, so that when they go out they find it easy to integrate in the society but also continue to live normal life.
So I'm just going to ask you this question because we've been dealing with this issue for the past couple of days. The schools that were not able to reopen because of the storms and also the ones in Mkambatini, give us an update there.
The ones with regard to the storms have been reopened. The issue of Mkambatini remains volatile. Even today, there are some schools that are not operating. The fear of parents, learners as well as the educators is still very high, in spite of the presence of police, because these people who are really acting in a very bad way, they continue with the threats. Some of the parents have actually gone to the educator to say, we're not going to bring our children here because we have been told that we'll be attacked at the end of the day, so we can't risk our lives. So the situation there remains tense. The Premier did meet with one group yesterday. The engagements are continuing, and as Department of Education, we are intent to make sure that we reopen school because we can't actually lose more time.
And in the case of Lady Smith, can we have a time frame for those schools that were affected? I believe it's 6 schools.
Well, with the weather clearing, definitely by Monday all schools will be operating there.
Thank you so much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
So that is the KZN Education MEC Mshengu, just basically giving us some of the information that they'll be sharing here today. We understand that the Premier will be giving out those results. He is saying that they're very happy with this year's results, even though the matriculants, the class of 2021, did face some major issues when it came to COVID-19 and also the fourth wave that the province found itself under during examination time.
Incredibly difficult 2 years for the grade 11s and, of course, now the grade 12s that we're celebrating. For the moment, Lethiwe, thank you very much indeed. We're back to you again a little bit later. I'm sure we're going to speak to some of the top achievers as well, Toombs, in the province later this morning. 8 distinctions.